Brothers and sisters, Trinity de Guzman coming at you right now from behind the camera. I'm here in the jungle of northern Peru with the amazing Frazer. What's your last name, Frazer?
Macmillan.
Macmillan.
Yeah.
Frazer's from Canada, and I guess we'll just start this interview. Frazer's been here for the past month at the center, and he's helped build the place. He's had his own amazing journey and experience with ayahuasca, and he just has an amazing story to share. And I wanted to share this with everybody else who's obviously looking into ayahuasca for their own personal healing and spiritual evolution. So, Frazer, tell me just a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and you could start by, after that, just letting me know how you got the call to ayahuasca. Where did this all begin for you?
Well, where I'm from, and who I am is Alberta, and no, that's definitely shaped a lot of me. I've done a lot of traveling in my life and everything like that, and recently in my life, I've started my own company and stuff like that with the trade I've been in for a lot of years, and I've been doing that. And then recently, it just wasn't really fulfilling me at all. Like, I just felt really stagnant, and yeah, I just couldn't find the fulfillment in it anymore, and was just sitting around, moping around, wanting things to come, and didn't really know what was going on. And I found out through actually drinking some mushrooms with my friends. I just got a large portrait painted in my vision about me just not being happy with what I'm doing, and connecting on a spiritual level. And I had never really had that before. So I did more research into what that meant, and I had known about ayahuasca, but I hadn't given it much thought. I was offered before when I was down in Peru a year and a half ago, and I thought, no, that's not for me. And it wasn't actually at that time. It wasn't at all. So I didn't, and then went on and researched about it, and decided to go to get out of that stagnant level. And was grateful to know Ashley, who's fortunately building a retreat center. So I came down here, and they were 3 weeks away from building the Maloka, finishing the Maloka, and I put my hand in and helped them finish it. And we started a diet right after that for 10 days, and yeah, that's how I got here, through research, finding out that I was lacking spiritually in my life. I was growing in all other quadrants, but spiritually I had really never grown. So it really helped me be able to just look within inside myself, and it was all there. Like, that's what we've been talking about. Like, it's all inside you. It's just it's a medicine to help you realize that, and it's guided, and it's it can be scary, and it can also be just completely blissful as well. Like, a lot of love, a lot of appreciation is flowing through me. Essentially, I got my life back, is what's going on. Like, that stagnant level isn't really isn't there. Like, there are so many things that I am just going to do now. It's not just talking or wanting or anything like that. It's it's really good. It's in a lot of places I can just keep on growing, and just do the things that I want to do. Really, I got that motivation back in myself.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
When you say it was like you got your life back, what was it that you felt that you were missing that kind of felt like that was the life that, that you did get back?
It was indecision. It was indecision, and I needed it. I was looking at it from like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and just thinking of opening up so many doors that were in front of me, but really never opening up that door within inside me and seeing that. And once I did, through the help with ayahuasca, it just rang so true, and it was so vivid and so real that that indecision was a large hindrance of mine, big time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you feel like that's going to shift from here moving forward through the work that you've done here?
Well, I think a large part of it is working with others in community and stuff like that. So much, not carrying such a big ego around, with like, I can do it on my own, or I'm just not going to do it because I'm scared of failing and stuff like that, and everything like that. To like ask for help in certain things, and then just and then it's just I want to grow more. I want to live more. There's more to learn, and that's kind of just the incentive, the care to want to do more is how it's like is gonna start working for me.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And like, why is this path like important to you? You mentioned something about your mushroom experience, and you had a clear portrait painted to you as to like, that spirituality is something that's really important for you to pursue in this part of your life. How would you word like why that's important to you?
Well, because without it, I wasn't really doing much. Like it was showing in all aspects of my life that I was doing whatever was told by like by the society that we've grown up in, and I was like doing it to a full extent. Making a large amount of money, having a gorgeous girlfriend. Just like really being able to do anything I want, and not wanting to do it at all at the same time. And it was just a kind of like a battle of just like, I don't feel like doing anything, the meaning of life was really hitting dry. Like, it just didn't really have much purpose anymore. And just when I started reading, after that spiritual experience with the mushrooms and reading about spirituality, it was just so evident that I didn't have any of that in my life. And like, especially where I'm from, it's just like that wasn't an aspect that I really grew up in at all. And I have a father who has transformed his life over the last decade and a bit through yoga and meditation, and he's growing spiritually, and he is just a really, really sound guy. And I saw that, and the whole thing was there's all certain ways to go through about like a spiritual lesson in a practice, and ayahuasca is one of them, and undoubtedly meditation, yoga, and just doing the stuff that you want is what feels right is another way to do it as well. So that's that's how important it was to me. It was just this realization, just admitting it to myself that I haven't grown spiritually, and wanting that. That's how this all came together.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you remember the moment when you knew that you wanted to come down here? You mentioned to me that it was, you booked your flight 2 weeks before you flew out.
Yeah.
to Peru. Like, what was that like when you had that decision and that moment, that instant when you were like, I got to go to Peru?
It happened. It was kicking around the idea for for a couple days, like seriously for like serious for a couple days, and I talked to two friends who had prior experiences with it, and
With
now
ayahuasca.
yeah, with ayahuasca, and I'm recently within the last year, and then with the other one within the last couple months, and now I'm on the same page with them. So having those conversations with them, because there was a lot of doubts. It was scary. You hear these things like, is it going to change your life and everything like that, and it's just like, are you scared to change for the better? Is it good to grow? Is it good to get some clarity in your life? Is it it's good to feel like you're in a communion with people, that like people actually, that you love people and people love you. That's what it brought back into me, and it was just like, well, that was their message, just letting stuff go and really going with the flow and doing what you want in life. And it was so awesome to hear that from them. And it was just like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm gonna go. So I made the calls I needed to make, and told the people, like my foreman especially, and that I'm not going to work, that I'm going to go do this. And people are supportive of that. They're supportive. People want you to do well, you know and like, maybe people don't understand sometimes where you're at, but inevitably they will, through how you carry on with life after. And if you're happy, then it really has no other effect on them but for them to be happy too.
Totally.
It works through all of us. If you're happy, yeah, so is the other person.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
how do you feel like this happiness that you have, that I can feel in you right now? It's like, how do you feel this is going to continue to ripple out in your life and when you go back home?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's you have to be aware, like to not get caught up in my thoughts and stuff like that, and be aware of what's going on, and keeping the practice up, whether it almost just doing what you want to do. And if you're thinking like, oh, that's not really right for me, well, it isn't. So don't do that. And that's keeping that balance for myself is going to keep my happiness, which is going to transpire into the people I'm surrounded with. And it's a lot to do with just treating myself better as well. Like a lot of grievances that I've been dealing with have seemed, it seems like they're just not that large of a deal anymore. Like I don't really care to do that stuff anymore. Like, stuff I'm talking about is like a lot of partying and stuff like that, and just a lot of my ego has been diminished and everything like that. Like, putting anybody down, judging anybody or anything like that. Like, those are all things that I've learned to let go, because really that doesn't hurt anybody except myself. So if I stop doing that, or at least be aware of it when it comes up, it's gonna help me be happy in return. The people around were happy as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And when you say like being nicer to yourself, be kind to yourself, however you worded that,
Yeah.
what did you mean by that? Like, can you elaborate on that for me?
Well, just to say, like,
Or like specific examples?
Yeah, specific example. Like, if you don't really like your job or what you're doing, you can let that go, and that is in terms of being nicer for yourself. Or if you're in a relationship, I was in a relationship, with a gorgeous girl, but like her and I really weren't connecting that well, and it was just like, let that go. And in return, that's being nice to myself, and I can grow that way, not get caught up and stay in that conflict. And being nicer to myself is being nicer to others too. seeing how people are, you know, cooking people meals and stuff like that, telling people that you love them. It all comes back to you, you know, that whole um, gratitude and generosity and everything like that. That's starting to make more sense. Is, you know, you do really get out what you put in. So if you give people love in return, you get love. So that's being nicer to myself, and like all those certain ways, you know, and they don't put yourself in environments where there's a bad, you know, flow of energy where you know you're not going to connect. Leave that alone. You
Right.
know, you don't need to put yourself in those energies, because um it's not so much that it's stronger than you, but it does affect you. If you're in
Totally.
those energies, they do affect you. So just being aware of that is another thing that I've learned as well.
Are you talking about like partying?
Yeah, I'm talking about partying and like bars and stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool. And how's
yeah.
that feel to no longer, feel the need to do that, or like to have that shift where that's something that you're not really inclined to continue to do? What's that like? How's that feel?
Well, it's liberating in some ways, you know, at the point where it's just like, instead of going out and looking for a better time, you can stay at home and cook a good meal for yourself, and do some research and get a good night's sleep so you're fresh for the next day. Like that's the kind of stuff that, you know, at one point, that is the letting go, like giving it up. Like there's no searching for a good time. Like a good time's all the time. That's what's going on. Like if you're down and stuff like that, like okay, sure, but you know, going searching for a better time, or this is going to make me happy, that's going to make me happy, yada yada yada. That's that doesn't really seem like a battle anymore. That's, you know, things are just good as are, and like, you know, everything's just going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so like one of the things that I know for people who are in that type of scene, it's like there's a lot of external influences in terms of friends, like who will invite you out or like offer you drinks or whatever. Like how do you see yourself being able to handle those situations?
Oh, I think it's the same thing with people like wanting you to be happy. People like want to care for you and everything like that. If you just simply explain to them that I don't really feel like doing that, uh, if they get upset, then that's them. You know, that's them.
Right.
That's, you know, their issues, and they'll deal with that. Um, but you know, kind of that's more standing up for yourself, and keeping that level of generosity for yourself by saying, you know, I'm not. I don't feel like doing that anymore. I don't feel like putting myself in that situation anymore. So, you know, and then almost you can help them by offering a better opportunity too, because you're probably going to have something, you know, not so much better, but something different, something that's more connected with just not like so much more connected with nature, but more connected with community, more like carrying and stuff like that, other than that nonsense that usually goes on with partying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So do you feel like you got what you came here for?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And the whole idea is that it was in me already, and that's the thing. Like, and it was just a tool. Like that was a big point of coming down here, was just like to acquire some tools to know that what's in me, you know, to grow spiritually. And it's not like it took forever either. It's been you know, like it was a 10-day diet, 8-day diet,
Yeah,
and um you know, that wasn't like a super long time either. And just like to be able to go through those ceremonies with that community, just you know, liberated me right there. Like it didn't take that much time.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you have any intentions or expectations prior to coming here?
Um, Intentions, yeah, I had some intentions. Intentions were pretty much everything that I've dealt with, and they were actually really clear in the ayahuasca. It was just, you set your intentions, and that's kind of what was going through my mind. A lot of everything else that did come up was actually really good. It was all about love and caring about people in my life. And then so that all came up, but my intentions were to kind of figure out a path for myself. But the path that I'm taking now is kind of what I've always wanted to do, and I'm just willing to do it now. I'm willing to let go of all that stuff and take that path. So my intentions were set on that. Like, drinking was a large thing coming down here, like, working with that, seeing if I needed some help on that. But like, there was nothing really clear in the ayahuasca visions about like, oh, you're an alcoholic and you need to give that up and everything like that. It's just that the idea that I want to go out and do that is lost now. Wow. Like if you're done the day from skiing, I was saying, and you're in a hot tub and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, it could be nice to have a beer, but like, I literally want a hot chocolate now, just so I'm not bloated and don't feel like that. Like, that's kind of like, I just want to treat my body better, which in turn treats everything better. So like, there was nothing that stood out like, yeah, you need to quit drinking, so you're going to go to hell and everything like that. And yeah, it's all scary. Like, there wasn't anything like that. It was just like, do you see how you feel when you eat well and everything like that? And it just painted a really clear picture that way. So that was one of my big intentions, and then dealing with my work and my job and stuff like that, and that's just playing out there on the table. I have to do the work still, but to know what's good for me and what's not good for me is more clear as well. So intentions were met, and then expectations, I couldn't put any together. I had expectations of wanting to get helped and work on some healing, but I guess I've learned that a little while ago, that you set expectations, and that's just a good way to get disappointed. So I didn't set too many expectations.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. And how do you see yourself to continue to integrate with everything that's happened for you and opened up for you, to really ground this into a way of living, like, permanently?
Well, like I think a lot of it is not passing judgment, and not getting into arguments and stuff like that, and not getting in conflict with other people's, and like and just seeing them for who they are and stuff like that. Like, that's going to be, I think that's crucial for me to keep grounded and everything like that, not to get in those conflicts. And then keep on working with, like, doing what you want to do and keeping that flow going and not resisting is going to keep me grounded as well. Like, if you're really having a hard time with something, it's just as easy as letting it go, or accepting it for what it is, and carrying on with it, and not getting too bothered and caught up with life. So, like, that's the biggest way for me to stay grounded. Treat people with more respect,
Yeah.
Don't look down my nose at anybody.
How are you gonna how are you gonna remember this at the time when you are triggered, for example?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I have to get triggered first before that comes up. But if I do get triggered and it goes, I think right now it just feels like it's a part of me now, not to react. Like,
Cool.
sure, like the idea of getting triggered and stuff like that is really possible, and it is going to happen, sure. But to go over that and be aware of your thoughts and be like, why were you triggered? Was it are you defending your ego on it? It's their problem. Do you want to make it into yours? As long as you're not giving other people's problems, as long as you're not looking to trigger other people, then that can be an avoid situation, I find.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just it's like if you really meet like an awesome person like that everybody really loves, how often do they get triggered? Not
Right.
too often, because they're in good spirits and nobody really wants to trigger them. And if somebody does, it's just because it's their ego really lash, wanting a piece of that. So
Right.
like if you're just generous and everything like that, and not passing judgment, it's people, it's a practice, it's a growing phase and stuff like that. Like this is like an initial start to all of that.
Cool.
All of that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And what would you say to anybody who's watching this video who, they're thinking about ayahuasca, maybe they've never drank before, and they're just in that decision phase? What would you say to them?
Well, if you're in that decision phase, then like there's something that you're resisting in life, and like if you can't accept it and stuff like that, and this seems unsurmountable, just it's there. I'll have to edit this one.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I won't even need to. It's going to be completely raw, uncut.
Yeah.
Keep going though.
No, yeah. Like if you're in that decision phase, like when you think you can't do it and everything like that, you totally, you really can. Like I was saying before, like people will accept whether people will be concerned, absolutely, but that would be before, and after they'll be quite glad. Like it's something to do for yourself. Like it's within you, and you're the only person that can heal yourself. This is a tool that can help you with that, and but you have to do the work. And if you're in a decision thinking whether I should or not, and you're really looking for some help, and then help yourself. And there's nothing wrong with it. And that was the biggest thing. Like, I was asking a couple of those friends, I'm like, well, are you different now? Are you weird or anything like that? And they're like, no, I'm not weird at all. Like, I feel fine. I'm not, there's nothing crazy about it. All that stuff that we've been told, is just all hocus pocus. It's great. It's liberating. There's like so much to it. So.
Oh, hold on. I just have to ask that again, because it cut out for some reason.
Oh, okay.
So, any final words that you would have to say to anybody who is watching this video, just to wrap this up? There's a lot of fear that people have around taking this leap and coming to Peru and, doing this for themselves and taking this medicine that they've never had before. Like, what would you say to these people?
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like the fear of the unknown. Like, I've never done anything like that before, and like you can do a lot of research, and that's good. Like, even watching this video is doing the research and seeing how people are with it. But like I asked my two friends, like, are you different and stuff like that after doing it, and it was like, no, we're not different. Everything's quite a bit better, and that was the whole thing to deal with deal with the fear of coming down here and everything like that. But there's there's nothing to be afraid of now, and I think it'd be hard to see people coming down from wherever they are, without a little bit of fear in them of doing what they are doing, you know. But you owe it to yourself, really, to work on that fear, to abolish that fear, and to get on with life. So yeah, because that fear just keeps you down. That's no fun place to be. It keeps the happiness unavailable to you if you're living in that I don't know whether I should or not kind of stage. So yeah, there's only good results. We did a group with, I think there was 13 of us all in all.